Welcome to Only Murders in My Mind. Hello everybody, welcome to this episode of Only Murders in My Mind. And there's just the two of us today, isn't there, Liz?
There are, and then there were two.
No, we haven't got rid of Mike. He is busy doing other things. He's quite well, don't worry about his health.
Well, you would say that, wouldn't you, Carol?
Please, Joanne, don't worry about him.
Well, also, don't forget we are three because we've got producer John with us.
Yeah, you might end up doing a bit of a talk, John. No?
Maybe.
That's what I like about you, your enthusiasm.
So we have decided to talk today on something that, well, I find it interesting. I think Liz does as well. Mm-hmm. And that is the neurodiverse detective who would be classed as autistic, somebody with Asperger's syndrome, which is frowned upon. That title's frowned upon these days because of the connection with the Dr. Asperger who defined this particular syndrome, but he saw it in the young Nazi youth.
Oh, right.
That's where it came from.
Yes. Do we have something new to call?
Neurodivergent.
Okay.
That is the in thing at the moment. I mean, because some of my offspring are neurodiverse, I will slip into saying Asperger's syndrome, and I apologise if that offends anybody, but that is what it has been known as for the last 30 or 40 years in my head.
Yeah, that's what I've always known.
Yeah.
It has.
And because I have got some underlying knowledge of this particular spectrum, I know there's a wide variety of depths of this particular sort of, I wouldn't call it a disability, I'd call it a superpower, but it can affect people and affect the way they live their lives if they get in with the wrong people and that sort of thing. So when I have watched detective series, as I do, and read books on detectives, I have very often gone, oh, that detective's autistic, which I find absolutely fascinating. And one of the first ones that popped into my head when we were doing the research for this was the Bridge and Saga Nornum. And she was so autistic that her colleagues had to make allowances for her.
So how did that manifest itself?
Well,
because I haven't seen The Bridge. So.
She is very down to facts.
Mm-hmm.
And she has no empathy. So one particular, she because this was a Swedish-Danish sort of investigation, because a body was found on the bridge that spans the two countries, cut in half exactly in the centre.
Oh, okay.
So that's why it ended up being two different police forces looking into it. And her sidekick from the other police force was Martin Rose. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it, but Martin. And they go and visit a witness or somebody who was connected, and there'd been a death or something like that. And I remember one character going, "Yes, but she might still be alive." And Saga goes, "Oh no, she's probably dead now. Statistics say," and he's going, "Yes, let's just look at this." He's trying to intervene because she's telling the truth from her statistics. This person had been missing for so long, and the chances, very high chances, that they were dead. And she was telling it as it was, and the shock on this mother's face was like, "What?" Like, because, while there's life, there's hope and all that sort of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she was probably expecting something sort of soothing and reassuring. Yes. And yeah.
And then, of course, the other things which becomes more apparent as, I think it's in series 2, is she can't make allowances when the law's broken. It doesn't matter why it's broken or who broke it. She cannot bypass that and go, well, I know why he did it, so I'm going to pretend I didn't see it. So that is something that comes out in the series 2 more than series 1. But she was very, very typical of how we see somebody with something like Asperger's syndrome, who is very clever, very astute, sees things other people don't see, but hasn't got the word to filter out what she should and shouldn't say. She's not got that filter.
Mm-hmm.
She just tells people what.
Yeah, and she wouldn't understand why you couldn't say it, because if it's the truth, then...
Yeah, exactly. Why would you lie, sort of thing.
Mm.
And some of that is quite funny. And you see that through other series as well, where the main character is on the spectrum and goes, but shouldn't we tell them that the chances are that this person will never be seen again? And the detective's going, no, not yet.
As a character, she sounds a bit like Patrick Fort.
Yeah.
Who I think I've mentioned before, because I've read a couple of Belinda Bauer's books. I've read the two with him in, because I read The Impossible Thing on my husband's recommendation, which was great. And it turned out that was the second book with Patrick in. And he's a great character because, like the character you mentioned, he wants to know the truth. So in the first book, Robin Ecker, he has signed himself up to an anatomy course. So not a medical degree, but an anatomy course at university. He's
doing a module in it.
Yeah, he's got abilities. He's done the interviews and stuff, and he's good at biology and things, and he's done that for a very specific reason, which I won't tell you because it gives some stuff away. And his approach to, they're dissecting a body, and lots of people are like, and there's someone who faints at the sight of blood and all that, and Patrick is just completely not bothered, very clinical, absolutely fascinated, because he's doing it to find something out.
Yeah.
And he will stop at nothing if he wants to find something out, to get at the truth of things. And so, there's amazing, in the two books, there's amazing set pieces. There's elaborate plans that you think would never possibly work, and somehow they do, And like you said, I think some of the humour is when you see other characters reacting to Patrick. And what's going on here, he can't possibly think that. And it's like, oh, yes, he can.
Yeah.
But also the relationship between Patrick and his mom.
Right. So, I bet that's an interesting one.
Oh, it absolutely is. Yes. I thoroughly recommend, because I'm not going to say too much about it, but I thoroughly recommend that you read Robin Ecker first. Because, it's great. It's so exciting. And just when you think all the excitement's over, there's a fantastic twist.
I like the sound. I have got that on my list of books to read, recommended by Liz, I must admit. So be my next one, I think.
Yeah. But Carol, you have certainly at least one neurodiverse character in your books who is helpful in the solving of crime.
Yes, in my books, The Warrington Detectives, one of the main characters, Wen Price, who is the chief. She's the lead. What you call. SIO, senior officer in charge of most of the cases. But she's a twin, and she has a twin brother called Aaron, who is quite severely affected by his autism. So much so that he doesn't really go out. But he is super, super intelligent. He's very good with computers, And it has happened more than once in the books where Wen's taken her laptop home or some case files to work at home, and found Aaron rooting through them the next day and gone, what are you doing? You shouldn't be looking at them. It's all confidential, which he knows. And then he'll go, well, have you interviewed such and such a person? And she'll go, well, why would we interview them? And he'll go, because da-da-da-da-da. And he'll connect all the dots that are there, but nobody else is, nobody else could see the pattern. Yeah. So he has inadvertently helped the Cheshire Serious Crime Squad.
Yeah,
towards solving a few.
You see with Patrick Fort, because with other people, sentiment or empathy or sympathy will get in the way, but he just he cuts straight through that.
Yeah. No, yeah. Well, that's it. And another one I watched, and I was hoping there'd be a second series, but there wasn't. I think it was something to do with COVID. I think the first series was made pre-COVID, and it was called Chasing Shadows.
Oh, yeah.
And this is about missing persons, and there's a detective sergeant, Sean Stone, and he is neurodiverse, and when he works with the normal police, rubs everybody up the wrong way because he does everything by the book.
Yeah.
And he can't be swayed to, cut corners or anything like that. So they sort of funnel him off into missing persons, where he works with a Ruth Hattersley, who is a civilian. but she collates all the missing persons information, and she goes home one night after meeting him and thinking, well, he's a bit odd, and comes back the next day, and his little office is wallpapered with all these missing persons people, and he picks on a couple and then starts to untangle the thread that leads to them being discovered. And the funny thing there was, he'd go, well, we need to go to such and such a place and talk to such and such a person. And he'd go and get in his car and drive off, and she had to get in her car and follow him because he wouldn't let her get in his car with him, And
why not?
Because he didn't like people in his car.
Fair enough.
He didn't like anybody next to him in the car. If they brushed against him, he couldn't cope with any of that. And it was an absolutely fascinating series, and it finished on a cliffhanger.
Oh, no.
I think he was trying to find somebody he was related to.
Oh, that's the worst when that happens.
Nothing ever took it, they didn't remake anything, and that, because I was thinking it's bound to come back with that sort of a finish, but yes. So I'm hoping.
I think it might have, probably got past the point where they're going to bring it back now, unfortunately.
So, but that was a really, really good series as well.
But yeah, it feels as if with a lot of the stories we're talking about, the character themselves has got great abilities, but where they kind of fall down is in other people's reaction to them and other people blocking them because they don't necessarily like them or understand what they're trying to do or why they're trying to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, you may have watched either of these. There was Astrid in Paris, and Astrid is a person that works in criminal records. She works on her own. She is quite severely affected by her autism and has to wear noise protectors.
Oh yeah,
a lot. She very often plays music through them. They made a British version which was very good, and it was called Patience, and I think there's probably a second series coming up. I think with the French one we've done 4 or 5 now. And it's exactly the same series, but obviously it's played by English actors. And again, she can see patterns, so there'll be an unsolved case, and she will get all the information out, which she has archived herself, and go into a room and spread it around her and sit in the middle and start looking at all the individual bits, and it sort of clicks into place.
It's a bit like Sherlock is a mind palace,
exactly,
isn't it?
Yes. So that takes us to Sherlock then, doesn't
does. I won't say he's the elephant in the room exactly, but I'm sure we've discussed him in this context a few times.
Yeah, when you look at Sherlock Holmes' character especially, well, it doesn't really matter who portrays him. I always come to the same conclusion. He doesn't really like people. He doesn't like rules and regulations.
No.
But he is fascinated by facts, science, and outcomes.
Yeah, it's things like when he's got all his niche interests, like, I've done a monograph on all the soils in London so that, you can examine a boot and know exactly where somebody's been walking.
And I know all the cigars that anybody could ever buy.
Cigar ash. Did you do a monograph on that as well?
Yeah. So that sort of, because very often people that are neurodiverse have interests that absolutely take over their lives if they're not careful. My middle son's is the cinema, some television, and he likes manga and that sort of thing, and can tell you all sorts of things about it. Absolutely. Yeah, if I asked him to boil an egg, he'd be like, "What? How do I do that?" And this is the dotty professor syndrome, where you've got a professor who's brilliant, but, can't look after themselves, never has the same socks on, all that sort of thing. And we've all known somebody like that in our lives, So it's not as... I think the thing with autism is it used to be, it's very rare, it's very unusual. It's not. It just wasn't easily to diagnose.
Yeah. And I think also, you mentioned like people, a dotty professor. You know, if you go back to the Victorians and you think of all the, you know, the things they explored and their collections and their classifications and all of those things. And you just think, you know, did they look after themselves or did their wife or the housekeeper do all the mundane stuff? So
they will have done, won't they?
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Probably.
That's why it was unusual to get females doing the exploring and research, wasn't it? A, because of the way women were treated then, but B, because women had to do both usually. They had something that fascinated them outside the home experience. They had to do that and look after the house and yes, they had servants.
Yeah, I mean, if you had money, you were probably okay.
You were okay, yeah.
Yes. Otherwise, you'd end up doing a double shift, wouldn't you?
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, I mean,
at least
as I was, you know, through my life, I've had a lot of support, but you always feel as a wife and a mother when you've got a career, you've got to do everything. I don't know whether you felt like that when you were. Did you have the boys when you were still working for the NHS?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you were doing everything, weren't you?
Well, you know, my husband helped a lot.
Yeah, my husband
He is a great cook, so, you know, that's kind of off my plate, if you see what I mean.
I couldn't have done it without, you know, the support of my husband, but yeah.
But it is a lot. It's all the things you have to keep in your head about, you know, that assembly, and they've got to wear yellow on Thursday, and don't forget to bring in a plastic water bottle and, you know, 2 yogurt pots and a piece of blue string, or else. You know.
I remember when I was training to be a nurse, and I had 2 at nursery, and I knew one had been invited to a party because he'd brought the invite home.
Oh, yeah.
And I got in from work about 4:00, and his party was at 5, and he went, "Have you done my fancy dress then?" I went, what? And it was a fancy dress. Somehow I managed to cobble together a fancy dress of Darth Vader.
Wow.
And he won a prize.
Excellent. Did this involve a bin liner?
It involved a bin liner and lots of glue.
Oh, well done you.
Yeah, that was the one that was most spectacular. The other one that I've watched, I think I only watched this one once, is Bones.
Oh yes, I've heard about it. I haven't watched it. The list of things I haven't watched is immense.
Yes, but you have got quite a busy life. I mean, I do spend a lot of time watching television. Bones is about an archaeologist who helps identify, obviously, bones when they're dug up, and the character was called Temperance Brennan, and she had a FBI agent who obviously was he was detecting the murder of the bones that they'd found, if they were deemed to be that the person had actually met their death not by natural causes. The interesting thing that I found about this, I really did enjoy the series, but it's based on books by Kathy Reichs, Reichs, Reichs.
Yeah.
And she was this person. She was this archaeologist, and in this TV series, Temperance wrote fiction books.
That's handy.
Which she was very, very good at, and she sold a lot. And Kathy Reichs wrote books about a woman called Temperance. And in Temperance's books, in the TV show, her main character was called Kathy. So I thought that was really interesting that she sort of comes into the series as a character in Temperance's book, where in real life Kathy was writing Temperance in her books.
Yeah, it's kind of like breaking the fourth wall, isn't it?
No, it was.
What sort of character is Kathy in Temperance's books?
She's more of a Lara Croft type person.
Oh, really?
I think. Yes. More daring.
Great.
Yes, I think she's that type of person. But I really did enjoy that series. And again, it was like she was so matter of fact, and people would get upset, and she'd be going, "Why are they upset?" You know, the so and so's just died. Well, people do die when they get to that age. So she was very much like that. But she did soften though as the series went on, because she did end up having children, and I think that makes you think differently, whether you're autistic or not. Now, I did go to see what you're going to talk about now. The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime.
Yes. It's like she's a mind reader. How did she know I was going to talk about that?
Well, you mentioned it before we started, and the only reason I mentioned it is because we went to see the play.
Oh, right. Was it good?
It was excellent. I mean, I read the book. So where are you coming from on this particular thing?
Suppose it was, when we said we might do a podcast on this, it kind of went into my mind. I think because it was such a famous and well-received and popular book, and I think, some people thought it was like the first, depiction of a character like that in a popular novel.
Yeah,
so,
you're probably right.
Yeah, well, I think I read somewhere it's been translated into like more than 30 different languages.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the title of it as well is interesting because The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime is a quote from...
Shakespeare,
is it?
Sherlock
Holmes, yeah.
Or Shakespeare.
But yes, the dog did nothing in the night time, said Watson. He said that was the curious incident.
Yes, yeah.
Which is the kind of thing that does make you want to slap him a bit. But, there we are.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, if you haven't encountered the book, then it's written by Mark Haddon. And the lead character is a teenage boy. He's described as a mathematician with some behavioural difficulties.
That'd be right.
Yes, and the chapters are not numbered conventionally, but they're done as prime numbers.
Yes, yeah, fascinating, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not going to talk loads and loads about it, but again, it's that very literal even interpretation of things. So there's an incident where Christopher... the main character discovers his neighbour's dog has been fatally speared with a garden fork. And he decides that he's going to investigate the dog's death. His dad doesn't want him to, but he's going to do it. And he's chronicling any information in a book. So he starts this investigation and uncovers a lot more than he thought he was going to. Yeah. But again, it's really interesting for that kind of, other people getting in the way, their reaction to what he's doing.
He has to go on the tube on his own.
Yes.
That's very interesting. The play was very basic scenery, which was swapped round for different scenes, but worked brilliantly. So I can recommend the play, and definitely, as Liz said, the book is outstanding. It really is good.
Yeah. So that was a pretty, I thought, decent survey of some of the literature.
Yes.
And TV.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, if any of those interest you, then I think we'd recommend any of those to be picked up or watched.
Yes. And as I say, it's just that fact that people who are neurodiverse do tend to look at life just a little bit differently. And on that note, I think we'll leave it there, and we will see you same time next week. Bye for now. You have been listening to Only Murders in My Mind, a Random Thought production, produced by John Bissett. The music in Peril was composed and recorded by OM Studio Strings.